Belum mayonnaise bere de.
Assalamualaikum badengulu ngal kuntum mo beda wadani be wato watitu konton droko vansnal bismillah na programu min gazro jang lokungo lokun ni antemben sida jamano civic education program. Well, lengal bari mala Mustafa Jammeh membe sirim program o kunna nyintambe. Moki degul kati nyola de nuyu fi ci Sky Power Radio and TV Services Studios West Yorkshire Leeds Stencil Mount. Then Bismillah Shin Buntu program Jamano Baiko Fiji Rajabi Civic Education Program Andax and Harit Mustafa Jammeh Nekalen Fiji Rajabi. Yo, coming down the Kakinyam and local Ninian Temben Sita Kanana Jamano program of civic education, Alpha Minikataran Fe, local Ninian Temben Sita. Dol bijang dol man na follow dol yanda kana inshallah kato wato la bunya kama ngatin na programo nyin kalafika ke a wato la talalule programo nyin da ka kumasi bar deto yatin na tade soto do demanding mimbe fe follow na dol binale bari mimba fe follow Suleiman Jeng ci sol ñu bayela nga niyo ak askan gi yangi mute sol fo nga yangi mute.
Assalamualaikum Mustafa mangla nuyu di la santa di la gërem si sa taxawaay bu sella bi ak bu tedda bi pour di sahal programme bi week in week out ñoo xamne ñoy suñu audience di ñu déglu di ñu seetaan ñoom it mang leena nuyu ku nekk sa tur ak sa wàccuwaay di leen santa di leen gërem yàlla may nañu fekkee maa ngi ñaan mu may ñu wér ak wérle fan bu gudd ak mujj bu rafet ñu continuer programme bi ba ci kanam ak kanam.
Allahumma amin sol comme niñ ko baaxaw di defee weekend bu nekk semaine bu nekk nañ fi day ñëw am waxtaan boo xam ne lu dem ci what is happening in the Gambia few weeks yi semaine yi passé yi ni we've been talking about few other things ñi nga xam ne it's about the Gambia. Why current states bi ñu ko gisee ñu bari all these people ñu invite buñ fi ñëwee the raise concern nañ dee raise concern ne fu ñoo liggéey dañ fa am texa they've got difficulties ku munti ñëw fii anytime ku fi ñëw it's like ñun suñ liggéeykaay gi lii mooy suñ problème national human right ñëw na fi wax na civic naka citizens no the citizens advice
legal
ci problème bi lañ nekk Gambia Bar Association tam they came here they have this problem so Gambia problem bi is a never ending why and then currently sa léegi nii if you look on social platform in the social media yaa ngi gis ne there's this stabbing what is just happened in the Gambia. So Gambia legi, it looks like economically unstable. Security, you bit scary. So you know, and it's something about security because you're personnel. So, what are your thoughts with the current state of affairs in the Gambia? So, lan moy sa halat ci Gambia so.
Well, I think uh, it's important for you what about the state of security, because I'm the security of a state dafa uh, lalu ci ay fànna yu bari. Mention nga economic bi, am nga boobu lenn la. I think last week waxoon nañ after Christmas period bi maa ngi doon express ne suma dismay su nit ñi waxee ne di Gambians stranded o dañ po o dañ ñàkka, dama de feel ne xëy na loolu affect to the urban area in a way, or even in the rural area sometimes. So demee programs yi like Youssou Ndour su ñëwee ay ticket $6,000 $4,000 yi ñoom Wally su ñëwee same amount other artistes yi understand nga ba pare soo demee si programme yi ni nga dee gisee nit ñi niñ dee sànnee xaalis yi ay $50 yi ay $100 note ay pounds o ak dollars. So doo mun a imagine ne dëkk boobu dafa foo. So seetloo tamit the number of auto yu fa nekka nga seet seen max yi obviously duñ moto yoo xam ne ay moto ndaare lañ understand nga. So da nga gis ne fii borom alal yi da nga tase borom alal bu am xaalis si yoon bi doo mun a xam sa kii ci moom waaw dafa am alal doo ko gis ci moom understand nga. Waaye foofu is very easy to spot these things understand, comme li nga wax at the beginning xam nga biñ nekkee backstage yow soo ñëwee on holiday yaa ngi ak di xam nga yaa ngi dawal moto bu rëy, so you kind of stand out of the community, so yaa ngi expose sa bopp as a target understand nga pour sàccakat yi robas yi ak yooyu. So sometimes it's like ñii dañ la dee toppa ba seet xam foo dëkka. So motor legally ni toj nañ suma moto bi or break nañ into my place, they stole this, they stole that. Feka ranye nañ la si sa melokaan ñu toppa la. Understand? So that aside, and I think they disagreed bitterly, the Gambians are still poor. Well, I'm a perception la. Because man suma waree jóge fi léegi ma yóbbu for instance an investor ñu dem si programme si kooku duma ko mun a mu xool yooyu ma ne ko ki ñii dañ po obviously dafa ne sol dafa mandi o dafa dof. So yooyu daf they create mix understanding of the realities on the ground. But on the general note, so seete henna si living standards of the people ñu ngi laa ne henna the average Gambians would live on $1 in a day understand. Waaye su fekkee ne loolu mooy xew obviously when we have xaalis bu ndaw liñ war a xalaat mooy ne xaalis bi naka laa ko investé pour mu mun maa jural xam nga lu baree bare. So I think foofu mooy difference between if you look at the rich here and the poor. So rich yi seen mentality suñ amee xaalis the first thing they think of is not spending it. They are thinking of how to invest it so that it can yield profits for them. While ñun the poor, if we have money, the first thing we think of is buying expensive or luxurious materials. So do you jural anything positive or any profits? For instance, you nga am 1,200 pounds or 1,500 pounds. Aramad dem jenda, iPhone Samsung 24 Ultra B is 1,200. So yangi they say 300. So that phone and yangi ame bo hamne is 23 Ultra. Dara jotuko. But you just want to kind of step up pour ñu ràññee la because am nga gars yi dang day jóge dañ di wax ni social media ne Gambia soo fa demee nga nekk boy amuloo iPhone 13 or 14 Pro janxaay duñ la xool. So everybody would want to have an iPhone 14 understand or iPhone 13 so nga ñu mun la count waaye iPhone 14 boobu lan la jural. In other words, mu ngi laa expose because somebody else mu ngi target phone boobu or yo yange sell sol mes bo hamne hair wig, which is $30,000. So hair wig bo yange them si program yange expose sa bopa to insecurity because somebody else munna chafulolu sa hechako sa bopa vi henna yange ame pin munna la ganya gyoyo. Wahina that 30,000 so ko invest on into something else. Maybe 6 months down the line or 1 year down the line, dinga am I $60,000 or $90,000. But nekunyo di halate lolu. So when it comes to security, I know security is the responsibility of the state and government to ensure its citizens are secured. They do this by providing security personnel. You have to cover key areas or programs. You have to ensure everybody is safe. I guess now during the festive period, AIG operations gangi have some strategic patrolling and presence, increase the police presence in the streets. So I was closely following the social media. Why most of the things Sima gets more traffic jam be, but I've not heard of anything lo hamne henna shooting la or stabbing or henna killing agyoyu. But looking at the social media te gisna bena jaha bin jam. Why the facts aren't clear. Luta nyureko that it was out of robbery, that out of Lola, or whether they were partners, they got difference, or whatever it is. But until the facts are established, it's difficult to state exactly what happened. But notwithstanding, Lolu munge won a lot of security breaches. Because fee in the UK, for instance, UK, London and Birmingham, amun na time gangsi, knife crime bi dafa bari won. Why police toge state biggest ne lead do continue. So what they introduce stop and search. Understand nga? So you say youth see then they stop. New silence. So you la fake yangi ame ganai. Then la de yobu new charge la prosecute la. So I think Gambia tamid warna initiate a program bo hamne dinañ muna control carrying arms in public such as knives or things because given like last week tamid I think I saw the police arrested someone with a pistol. Bohamne, it was in Lansing. So these are things yo hamne is worrisome. Nekala koku muna dugale pistol bi si state bi, si border bi, on notice. Nekala mo yobe pistol bobu in the public, bedi wara use lolu di threaten somebody's life. Pofu su feko ne henna borom yala sowe ko won, that person would have been dead, like this lady that was stabbed. Because munu nakosut. Even though the police arrested him. But I believe in prevention than cure because then you are be robust in a way in security be. Because most of the time, I think Gambian be is a little bit laid back as a person and as institutions, public institutions, and even as a state or government. Because most of the time is like then we are more reactive than being proactive. Even though police presence young far, lolu that they deter, but it's not every criminal that is deterred by a police presence. So the mere presence of the police is not enough. Need nañ pour engage guys, stop leen ñu saaj leen xam nga somebody ko xam ne looks scoffy at you, and then kind of strategize naka la ñoo protect the populace ak am programs yoo xam ne you educate people. Understand nga civic programs yoo xam ne at the national TV, at the national radio, private media houses xam nga so that you raise the awareness of the people, you understand ne nit ki doo mun a progress, doo mun a develop if you are not secured. So security bi lalu na ci economic bi, lalu na ci health bi, lalu na ci education. Because if you are not secured, how can you go to school? Understand? Road safety bi. You security matters. Now, security is not just about and follow Sachai or stop lane or stabbing. But simple things as following road safety, enforcing road safety. Because my son, I think, Nyang Jaila or someone else, I'm not being a same moto, living Indian, living you. The cross on the road. How can you even do that? In a dual carriage road. So Kenen Munanyo Enula Amna Benen accident I Bingison. I think 2 people died. So it's like there are so many things you have need to living go. Well, I understand the Minister of Interior is doing its best. Nungi establish kind of a body Bohamne is looking into um for draw, a security plan, policy and all those things. Why the is low rate is not enough. Like I said, there should be programs hamne that the aim of it is to raise, a security awareness. And these things you can only do by addressing some of the causes, the root causes of the insecurity in the state. Because don't wanna control security when you have not addressed the root causes of the insecurity. Because it is the root causes that creates the insecurity in the first instance. For instance, su fekkee assuming like henna kooku jahabi dañ ko doon drop ñu rey ko. So is that due to unemployment? Is it due to drugs? What is the drug enforcement agency doing? Because it's like, so they're telling you. I was watching a program Sierra Leone where seen youth then they them suli ni ñu deñi jël seen yahi foog na turn ko into sunguf and then they smoke these things. So and then somebody said it's even coming in the Gambia. So mënuma understand ñu ne ñun jullit lañ. How can we sit and watch our youth di dem si bàmmeel yi di sulli nit ñoo xam ne dañ dee di jël seen yax yi di ko turn into sunguf, di ko turn into a drug, di ko smoke.
Why so affaire si soko hole, if you look at it thoroughly, is scary. Number one, it's worrisome. Because if you look at it, man nakiyaw, when I go to the village, man can no more vegas village. Why even village bisa you don't feel safe. So because it's like man going to sa own deka, you feel insecure, unsafe, and that sort of thing. Don't allow hamne soul. I think there must be a stop to this, because if you look at it, if people start dying, because Gambia it's like with this fragile situation, like the TRRC, people waiting on the fence, the deportation, and so many factors in Ahamne, it's like sitting on a timing bomb, so I think, I don't know, Manda Mahamud, where do we start with this to, diffuse everything, so I don't know.
Nyari yëf la mu nekk, raising awareness is very crucial. The second most important aspect mooy not only coming up with policies, but you need to come with effective programs yoo xam ne they would engage the youth, dinañ leen make sure ne they live a meaningful life by attaining something meaningful, making something for themselves. Let's say, for example, henna create a fund or a project or a training program like boot camp feeling they were. You will train them to produce, let's say, for instance, local juice. They create a market for them, to kind of earn a living out of it. Why? So create a market, but you need to protect the market. Because, for instance, let's say nga am a horticultural farm for the youth. Nelen, okay, yen dengena breed chicken, ñii di breed eggs. Why you are allowing other people to import eggs and chicken from outside? You are not helping these people you're training to become entrepreneurs and to become self-employed, because they are out competing with other bigger, businesses for a smaller market. So at the end of the day, they're gonna get frustrated. They will feel nekkuñ di aan, especially the deportees you mentioned. Some of them have come to Europe and they've seen, how people live here and stuff like that. Ngawara delo nyonyo with all the hope they had, a struggle bring them through to come to Europe, new deport land. How do you expect those people would fit in without proper programs, training them? And, it's just like someone from prison here. So you get like a criminal yang for a long time. Then they am programs you hamne. Then they am like a parole officer bo hamne dafla they kind of neck every week dang am sessions anyom, dang am programs anyom, they will seek employment for you. Even where it's necessary to change the identity, they would help you do that so that you fit into society so that
Right.
you
Yes.
don't have to recommit. So, but these people, when they come back home, they need something similar. Programs you hamne, you would be constantly in touch with them, dealing help so that they can refit into society. Even though in Juge Faluyaga. But when you come out, get them through the back way, yala ham what they go through. Crossing that sea, nga succeed new, get new arrest la yange hope ne you would get your papers only for you to be told ne yange nyibi new bondul la delola. And when you come at the airport, you don't plan some of these people don't even have fares to go home. So Hamga is like the fire kind of create some kind of hatred, some kind of anger. And some of these anger, Hamna, the fire knew, the fire choke, and it's like a volcano. It will come to a time it would have to erupt.
Yes.
To erupt, a popular crime be they knew.
Because if you look at it, so go by hell, the crime rate in the Gambia, the looting, the knife crime, I think is at a rise, Sol. It's like people to do anything to earn their living or to get money. So
Yeah, because like that drug, like I Gisumako in the Gambia, I was just told is there. Why I've seen the documentary on Sierra Leone, living Channel 4 News. So these people, they like zombies, amuñ feelings or anything. So these people can do anything. They mun nañu dem raise and own dom, mun nañu dem raise and own yai, or do something just to satisfy that craving for the drug. So Soneke Junkie is like, yo, you are just a walking dead. They like zombies. So Hamga, and then you know Gambia, so Koselo, New Barilane is like a transit hub for drugs and drugs dealers. But what is the state doing, Hamga, to clean our streets from drugs? What is the police doing to clean our street from knife crimes? Because just being, presence in the street alone is not enough. That's my view.
yeah, so Montezuma this is like it's a bit scary, So yeah, so maybe people they don't get scared. They do what they think they will earn, especially when they are on drugs and that sort of thing. And drugs there's a way the drug enter into the country. There's a way in them they do it. Pistol bowling the one fatal I'm not from the te ñi de amee knife ay demee noonu they're in the Gambia within the Gambia so I think I don't know whether do we need to establish tertiary institution yi nga xam ne people get involved in they will have some earnings and then busy because doomi aadama su busy if you're busy doing up to something loolu sax it can distract or deter yeneen ñi nga xam ne naan ataay demee noonu to plan something I think I don't know, but I think whoever is responsible need to go to the people at their level, grassroots level, funjenane ataya, and then tell them, listen, you're small brother, you're small sister, me, I'm a police officer, or me, I am this officer, or whatever. But I'm not here as that. I'm here as a Gambian to tell you, listen, together we can be safe in this society. So yes, agri sector bitam, what they can do, the extension projects, I don't why all that things, I don't know, so I don't know. Man
Yeah,
dama
I
jaxle.
think I think the best thing to do more I'm gonna create. programs and projects for them, your hamne, would keep them out of the street, would get them engaged, and they could have some meaningful, they could make life for themselves. For instance, nobody knew them to be all they want, dañ buga barke. They want to earn something so that ñu muna help seen boppa, muna help seen waju. Because we all know Dombugur in our setting, it's a family look up to you to provide for them. So if you don't have the means to provide, and then yange gisamurom yange def nakala sudut no, you end up thinking nakala muna ame to be like this person. And if you don't have the same opportunity, obviously you would end up doing what you are not supposed to do to get what you want. So I guess now NPPs and you need organize a program, they're raising funds to support these bagway people. That's a good initiative. I only hope Halis Bobo would be used according to the purpose it is generated, because suñ fekkee ne dañ organize that fundraising for help those youths who have been deported or pour stop bagway bi Halis Bobo yep should be used to help those people. But sometimes the intentions are there, they're clear, but the way things are executed is oppositely that they defeat the purpose of the whole idea or the whole objective. So that is one thing they can do. They can look into one project, because Hamna, they cannot sponsor all of them, because like this is a one-off. Whether are they going to invest part of that money to make more profit so that they can use the profit to sponsor other programs? Like in some of them, I know night school, a lot of them may not want to go in for that, because they were looking at 5-6 years before they can start earning something decent for themselves. But if you train them, and like swing gauge be is very rich. Tanga gis ne Senegal ay bari ñoo fa nekk napakati. Time Julie like very core Tobaski or Magal, gender de manke. Because of Africa ñu yëpp delu nañ Senegal to attend those programs or to celebrate those programs.
Yeah,
But
come
if you have some of these
area bobutam. If you look at it, Gambian be, I think skill be is lacking in the Gambia so. So fita, mechanic, electrician, plumber, say the man, no, all these things, I don't know whether do we need to
even the
build them
tailors,
or not.
bed tailors, they all
Yes.
foreigners. Even ye defat mburu bi dañoo ne Guineans lañ, they all foreigners. So we've seen other people outside. You get them outside and they're doing it. Like I think that Suleiman Cham in Nigeria, he has a bakery. He's doing very well. He's a Gambian. Understand? Why don't I guess ne Tamit Soko said lo most of the Gambian diasporans then they buga invest back home. But if you go and initiate your business, they frustrate you. Dañ la dee exploit the little money bi nga yóbbu capital gaay lekka ko sa loxo, o henna sa moto yi nga fa am gaay yaxa sa moto yi, or you use sa moto yi to get something for themselves, you end up getting nothing. Fekk yaa ngi fi years yaa ngi liggéey di gada xaalis di live in the safe, and you say harama yóbbu li suma dëkka invest ko. Because I think I've seen Cham Tar and Alaji Gay, all of Birmingham, they had a live and they're talking about these things. And these people are frustrated to a point they want to close their businesses in the Gambia. So you can imagine these are all things that they cause insecurity, because lolu moko they create. So the investment and environment should be conducive, not only for Gambians wishing to invest back home, but for every investor that is interested in investing in the Gambia. Because I guess some of them would come in for send ideas and send businesses, and then these people will ask them, what is there in for me? So if there's nothing there in for them, you frustrate, like they kill the idea, or do nangusa business be living. So you end up packing your things and go to the sub-region, like Senegal, Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah, lolu moy problem bi foog naa sol. You don't think we need to try and inculcate nationalism like Buga sa réew, suñu gaal Senegal, suñu Gambia first, party politics na dem fele. tribe na dem fele Gambia. When it comes to Gambia, that nationalism side of it all is
I
very
think
important.
it's growing because looking at the AFCON, it's like all Gambians seems to be rallying
Yeah,
behind the team.
no, Saul, when it comes to football, oh no.
So
It's good.
everything has to start somewhere. Why again that should be kind of taken to, outside the football zone, like Lingawa, it should be taken to the community level because like I guess fee then they am neighborhood watch. So these are not government officials. They're just people who live in a neighborhood area and they agree, okay, we will come together and then we have to protect our neighborhood. And then anything lo hamne, they've seen it is suspicious, they report it to the police.
Yes.
Or they report it to the right authorities. For example, if you also jile sambal nga gene ko CBD kasane ko instead of putting it in the bin, xam nga dañoo call council bi ne gis nañ XY mu ngi génn fi lifin xam nga this tipping ak lifin. So you report ko. So council bi suñ la jàppe you'll be fine and those things. So these are things that we need to introduce, understand. In the community, comme li nga wax ne, we should start taking ownership. Why ownership bobu need to be it has to be led by the state. Understand? State be need to create those programs because I remember as a child growing time Jawara amon a program called Tesito, and it was a national program. So you can even see it in the school books. People talk about it everywhere. So in our head, Tesito, it means and like you danga wara taxaw nga góorgóorlu, understand nga. So góorgóorlu boobu mooy dinga mun a dimbale nit ngir yàlla ta or dimbale sa community ngir yàlla ta because you are part of that community. So you just don't sit and wait ne xam nga lii du suma affaire. But like I said, the state need to lead it. Understand? State be need to create programs and projects yoo xam ne dina involve the community so that they can help themselves.
That
Why
side
if
of it.
Lulu is lacking is a big problem.
Yeah, they welcome. Thanks for coming. Lunyon Watambi, the topic we on about the current state of affairs. Gambia is scary. We've seen what happened in Serekunda Buyago not long ago, Minketaje, like the stabbing, So we said we seems to be sitting on a timing bomb in the Gambia. Nga mo jamal invite jang, am na ñu bari ñu invite fee. They all came. Legal aid came here. Equal problem maybe they don't. All of them have their problem. Gambia Bar Association came here in Arajan in a problem, and then the lot of all the invitees, meaning Arajan, they came with there's a problem. So there's a problem in the Gambia. We can't say there's no problem. There's a problem, and that problem been security is it's a clear testimony. Yesterday was a clear testimony. If people can go, I have to stop somebody to survive. I have to kill somebody to have money or earn my living. It's scary even to go on holiday because you be a target. If you go with a different sort of look or different behavior or different vehicle, you're a target. So going back to your own kasi iya fangodo, I don't know. So where do we stand? For Yamina Day, Zemine Keno, Purkaje ko, nga nationalism dundi, mole tara kontano kono, mole tara tankumo kono, malong ba kumaslo no day. Welcome. Jibate.
Angka ko apar ko pakai mbal be kontona Sulaiman be kontona ko be siari ne ko le be siari sai den kandun nampang yes
I know sumo yung contributor.
Ngo ye abuka easy
Yung contributor.
abuka easy wala mkai ka apar ka pakai mbela moy dal fanan kontona yes ika mem for yes it's very sad men kita kunung And the saddest thing, pango dindingo nying, you know, the girl nying and indo manual, you know, they know each other. And they were very devastated because Kabri, when I saw it and I shared it in our family group, and they were shocked because so they sent me even the videos, ala photo, they were there, photo dulato, you know, so it was very emotional, touching for them. But yes, yalo ni mol diamuta, wato wati mol ka foko, ni fem fodromen ni mansakunda manta, ni koko weni baro president barola kolmanta mol ka foko politiko lem bari banko nyanta revamp la le kadu mo kiline ka politiko ke jang wolem president baroti ni ajen ko mo kiline ka politiko ke wolem president baroti pakatu president baro ya tele elek e karto fa ya tele ko mansakunda banko samba atela politiko danta kabring gambeno le karto fa ya kay ko mi tambindi oppositional wala mu politiko mu la do quality. That's why ika foy ko oppositional. That's why IBJ. But wato wati fal nene baro moy president baro moy ko alota dada abe mola bankola koleyal ning mola kol kafo. Wato wati baro lota nae ko kufo. Akake abe mol tajarante yala politik diamo ate damale ka politiko kijang. So nim president baro fongo mansi ayo be falling ayala tamarindi nyar jube ko banko be tunen kanne kambe be tunen kanne won kana nyo nene wala one youth soul be fa kam bakon highest rate of movement youth soul bitakan alla fatale that is one. Two, musol they are struggling melka wa filoke marseto with this whole demolition wo beta tale ayebe affect wo fanan ibe siring Saimba mwela ko farmer soul wol fanan iko ila fengol mansang abe lorinje mansakunda masanno wo fanan wo crisis o be lori mbe siri njang drogo ben dingol fakan dingol be fakan through drugs abuse be sharing cartelol fongo sa ye Gambia ke yaleti kadun kan the amount of drugs melje police ka be jamutale nyimutale oh Gambia do yata wotile. Well, a very small country with that. Ufanambe caring. Saying iman safe in a bankot. Ika sile wa is he fan anywhere because you didn't remember dokola. I be damn in forex lem. I be see the dokola je. If you see the dokud like ulta someone died the dokola not a pump ye fa. Recklessly. Wo baby caring. Anu nyimbe niafo iko politikolem. Of course politikolem because politiko wale baro sindije politiko yatina baro futa afre president baro nyanta sila because president baro yemeke ay banko tale ay DFPR sila ninga nyi mansa kunda jube say nga jube government be a be AFPRC molle murta fa ba kerto mo ay try ba kele kata ay même fo ay fole janning kol be bla ko AFPRC be murla in government is on video on record. And say no waleje AFPRC lebe nyim banko ronkan ito le banko tinya tajarante ya ngaje baro president baro fongo yin tajarante ya diamol dati kadu afongo sitala ko mulla namol ikadi jamal ikadi ate president barola nadia tate ab dawda abekela dawda ba kelaje president balo yin fo court afongo le lota ay fo so ni president no sita ako banko la nafulo anung ika banko namol ben bejo ika di jamal ika di president barale ka karfa telema ate lafta wedun dawda wo be kala jelet so isesi mengome ni teko ibe banko dokula ni teko ilafta banko makoila ni teko ilafta la mol makoila andu iteko ini president baroto doko kala oto fenke bar ite fenke no president baro court and court so ni nga sifa president no soto munjikale bije ko banko bitanyato banko betunenkane andum bitasilo men kono nimman hakito ate betala ate nyinyala andum president baro nyanta silale because many president baro sansan ya lonko among call understand and we ba ibe wo abuse kanne but president baro fanan hadamu tale because hadamu ya dorone atina abenyi manya beke kan
president nenemam president je me yalon ko nie da yele idiamuta ibela mol kadafita wodamba wolem the only thing president. So what we need, strong civil society nga wole need fonga mol fonga dati ka jube be mol karandila no ila nyantola mol ko understand ko ñin dia musifal mol kake amanke politiko de mol fana nyanta understand la politiko ani partisan politique a fatatale kadu politiko wole into la dunia be tada yembe ngomenke because kata na mojo politiko le kan foyete le na mojo ni mela na mojo domorote kela bankote tano wol be politiko partisan politique wole muko ni ti amirete la parti damma wole nyata kol kela so nyanda wo bondi la nyokonole andu manyana silala pour moya foko ibe nyim pol parti le to ibe jidak banko tampita wole la mbele nyanta wulila ni yawa dia monyanta continue la civil society foye wuli ye nyim banko jube ko amanta andu mbebe price pay le ko ngaju pay nyame ya jamela taimo katu ya jamela mansa kunda wole bije baroda malem president oti wole ye nyim mansa kunda fata ning AFPRC mbe back to AFPRC full swing and nobody can even convince me that because Ali cabinet o jube ha ndila dia mom wole ti nga taimo di ni dola because I came with very angry with these people because this government drives me nuts. I'll
let you pass on this one.
Yeah. The president said, "Go now, Flobe, on record. You said go now, woman baby joker. Resource baby, I didn't tell her. Nadia tante President Barrow, abekela dame, abekela woleto. On top of it, Natalaite ko banko dadala. Dol me aloko we don't support him. I will never support him because I know he cannot deliver. He won't deliver. He's just gonna get worse. So you do whatever you do in this country. So I do not understand why all the efforts we are doing is not working. Whatever you do in this country, as long as you don't support me, it's not gonna happen. President Barole Adayele, I have 4. So what do we expect? He has to go. As simple as that. He can't run this country.
Akumada bake ndeyemi fo Sal, welcome. Ngaya ko ila dula debita domandina malom fo ila camera lom fo lambolo man Sal ibada me bukeje bake.
Anu jan light tabatel.
Ha light to be jele ngamira PC nka PC leje or something maybe near camera.
You need to move to one side. That side a bit.
One side looks dark and the other is
I think that's fine. We can see his face.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So
my face doesn't matter. The subject being discussed.
The subject means a lot. No, we need to see that face, that lovely face. Sal, think the problem with it.
Police na jumale kadiami so that is suteno.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Abala funko nimba to about fokan and about fokan in a very compassionate way. So al salamu alaikum bal be kondona angal tol bin tarajang lay Mr. Jeng aning na sukuta boyo nying Mustafa mbal be kondona mbe lamoral kondona mbe jiber lal kondona kabringa title of bila discussion oje eko Gambia la current state of affairs where do you start because there are so many things going wrong for the Gambia and there are so many things going wrong for the people and in the nation. It's just unbelievable. So, but when we criticize, we must criticize constructively, because obviously a constructive criticism does build into, a reasonable kind of argument, and a reasonable kind of argument can enable people to meet in the middle. Angale kan fo la de nyanda be fo la mandiga kan wala bari yando bi nyim ko ko blom blu nyotol. So really Mustafa Malo mineketala.
No, you go carry on. Molke moile.
Okay, I'll come well. Okay, yes. So nko bawo nimbe niamo tuwabul ko debate. Wolom nga kacha. And nin kacha da fanan. Ye fem put on the table. Ndefana nga fem put on the table. Yende taji be miye nyabo je yata. Ndefana nga taji be miye nyabo je ngata. Then we meet in the middle ground. Puru banko stano nyaro. But Gambia katanyami mbende noma. It looks like a country, me alonko, is in chaos. it looks like fanang a country mi alonko is ungovernable. Ya nim banko tata fo ima governno. You lose direction because we don't mang policy soto mini be banko dingol inform about what is happening in the country. For example, in Kanying development plan soldier every year in year out, 10-year development plan, 5-year development plan in all new ministries, security, health and education, agriculture, foreign affairs, etc. Bonda mena min kumayata bake wolum ka nim policies nyol be ke put nang on the table for quarterly lombang, for yearly lombang. Many alon ko they are responsible for the delivery. Ye fango nyininka out of nanyim policy A ngamune deliver. Anu niba explain na banko be inyanda tangible results le dilan. One of nyinti inyanda afula nyele very clearly policy e nyimne munaf I munafo from the beginning. Halfway through the policy, I mune achieve. Naman feng achieve fanang. Akwendi banku dingol bela ko nga health policy soto janne, but unfortunately, as a result of, for example, na population on a waro, many health item carry deliver no. Pur moli along. But that's one thing. The other thing fanang, na education, ni na education jibe. Nde when I went to school, ninga na time compare with somebody in the same class B. Education be nyamin B. Nde covering, let's say, secondary school. I can write a good letter and this send a letter read. We had very good English teachers soto. Na teachers soto na banko kamini alonko banku dingolom and they were compassionate about their profession. And ni teacher dunda karamo class ko kuno mo bele ke day ko sayale be caring. Mo be ka teacher le lamoy. Mo be ka homework ke. Mo be ka ikata karanta be keri ne nyintu aw karam fanam be keri discipline be keri wodi aje min fanan keda yalo nga topic kenu janne the disconnection between mini yemara aning ye mini mara disconnection bale bije so ne stakeholders be jibe mini ka banko samba yo ne executive jibe president yo ye legislation jibe na national assembly ye na loi bundal fanan jibe justice system or justice department ye foreign affairs jibe ye dulal be jibe dami yalon ko mo be institutionally wala minde mo be jiko katara wolle kan nim banko kabe mamanna wolle ka diama anu ni diamu da mo be ke lamoy fentije yo ya jibe health nga health for example nin doctor o wrong operation o ke patient na fata wala no solely patient o care affordable there is nowhere victim as a turn to min. There is no regulatory body. Minka make sure all schools in the country are running efficiently and doing ila output production wise is excellent. There is no statutory body. You need a health fanang. There is no statutory body. Mi alonko ninte patient X na ni mo operate affordable. Victims cannot go anywhere. So akafatetil. So there is a lot of unprofessionalism in the whole system. Moluka karang, but when it comes to serving your own people, it become compassionate enough. Imam balafa sotun na moli, imam balafa sotun na musoli, imam balafa sotun dingoli. Eka dingoji abo suokono kabiring somanda. Ate duna suokono fo safo kola. Fema osabu fo abuka moto sotuno juna. Yo ite amere udinu be mune karan. Nana da suokono abana fa. Fendi baby abade abasa fa ko alketa nyadi le bara fa o mara time so. Afa mara time so most of the time. So there is so many things going wrong in the Bangkok. It's a siege for Somanda. Ye mira, once upon a time, there was a Gambia where all the systems were not 100%, but there were systems in the country you can rely on. Once upon a time, there was a Gambia that had the most educated, the most efficient civil service in West Africa. We said it with pride, Cody. Why can we not bring those old examples back? Why can we not bring old educational systems back? Why can we not make agriculture flourish in our country? Agriculture like a mojama employee in Bangkok. And yet agriculture is the less subsidized kind of area in Bangkok. So why? So important. Enough is enough. Because Certain Mboko Suguda, for example, wala gunjur, nemira wala warola, agriculturally, horticulturally, wolseming kenoi fangwe. If they had support, momanyana konkora wot. But there are families in Suguda di ikamano suman. There are families in Gunjur Fana is the same. Ikamano poti suman. And neoje dauda, to be honest, hongale bije. For your statistics sort of bang, the reality is hongale bije. People are hungry. Ika civil servant famo jakamur aka live dani kata do ko. Yo ika for salary. Ye jo Gambia traditionally salary beka domole before ye jo. For juloli dungila for julol fanam will find a mountain to another salary. So he said, Moje, aka 2 salaries received, but they mean nothing to him or her because he paid domotal. So come on, man. Gambia is wealthier today than 30 years ago. But why are Gambians poorer today than 30 years ago? Why? Because the resources are not equitably divided between the country. Nitata places like far beyond Jara Somanyolu, yeta Basenyolu, yeta Fatotonyolu. Ora nin konto wato etaraje ikwe kunanga konto. You can meet the most generous people in the world. They will give you anything, everything. But when you look at the diet, to be honest, ninyi mari akanyin diet min domo. Na sasata hani demanding. Ala immune system ba fail. At a chance to at a survival. So that's the problem happening right through the country, right across the country. Mola diet is poor. Consequentially, Nila diet is poor, ila defense mechanism would not be good. Nila diet is poor, it means honey tisota, more tisote dala drong, is a sasa. Ni sasa that it can convert into a major illness, etc., etc. So, na diet nyanta improve la nyadile, agriculture, go back to basics, you know. So, ninda ko mfanambe diamala ko ndey mse diamu jam fo fanoy so mbenta post la jande folo den ngamo do fanan so we diam
akumada bake yeminfo bamba nim moltata foy ka hani e kala fi ñoo fala pour ye balu nim moltata foy ka hani e walla bika sila fenna kotenke mo Gambia si fala kono walla nga ñaati le wala ka ke Gambia bamba mune la miro.
Yo, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Follow mben lundam buñare wo kontonna. Mballa moy kanne kuma lube diaren kuma kamol be diaren bak. Bari Mustafa bi na kenne woni ngaja ay nyimba ko to mbora bula. Anyada bebe funkularing. Demalo what is wrong with him because yalo banko be to le bulu mete moment. Andung mbenya balale nkata anin tam ndol kan fay suto kono le drong. Mam funtino Mambono Sutokono. We are just heading into the woods. Imam Fundino, Imam Banko Saino Molmangadi, Captain Dola, Captain Omensi Banko Bondi. Ntol Gambia Masibo Ketalede. Maya Mbadin Kanyum Makamemfo, Nyajube Mustafa. Molumenie Palaso Mara Gambia B. Ibe Tata through the old system of education. Momo ning atra permanent secretary, director, minister, whatsoever, you name it. Abe nana tartanu on the educational discipline la koto karango kumayata hani jita secondary school ni angale kanfo mobe kalon nako nyindala studies kala bari bi ma sibole into la banko do mo kata fa ka futa grade 12 letero mem letero tabuka safeno.
Yeah.
What is happening to us? What is wrong? For molle fon batate faye bang for yajele ko Nyato man, when the center cannot hold, things fall apart. Because that is the basics. Ning atra misalfe, Nyato koluman dedicate enough. Kaje ko, nyim banko mbele dentala, nyim banko mbele nyantambulo kafula nyoma ka samba. Mustafa Antol be dindi yalke Gambiale. Be nga karamulu kele nga jiskule do nimburo enko ngata lo nyino la wara ngata kara lo nyino la. Education ning both Islamic education and school education. Ni wularo sita teacher soul ka yayi sate o konole karamudo dinno be kamabole after safo salo ite hanyi la fintila because ni fintila somanda nin teacher eje ni tara karamudo you receive a punishment wobe ye discipline dun dindi wolto kam kulu hani la sofa ko ne ka ko ke ka fo ko mbe report le la teacher yale you know mo le teacher soul bunya mo le teacher soul respect. Mte I was a teacher, Suleiman was a teacher. Mbenga teaching kele mbenga alone what is in that field. The respect that we earned. Nga menso hane kabia benne na karamudo dinu dolte makeballem. But still now they call us teacher. Why? Because ntolu yenkulu men ntolu fananga the same system le tenteng mankulo nyimfara. nga kulo nyin tentende le kulo farabali koto nga tentende wala nyam comme alfal kam men yamaro di dron itol sita kulo kan kulo farabali koto nali fanan sita kulo kan alkana kulo fara barin tolla Gambia bi billahi Mustafa na nyaton ko le kulo be faranne saya be tembo men to at bala fa la warta ni aje moka hanyino ye ñun joraw la yedu moka la dulato ya tupan murola ay batu bandu banda mu nek may sulata men mota ya bulay balu
billahi
bari the problem mo bele nyamar because ni fe on sunya yetata ye motu baluri wala visata ya balo ni balo be tupan ye fe mota yet what did you gain ye mu ne soto because ye mo mem fa obviously ani ya disable fa wara ya bulo na sigol city ya silotape ya bulaje nin do na taw safirin nole bari say mol be tembo men do Mustafa a hungry man momi yalon ko konko bala men katama ko konanin ala damale yalo of course mbela dindia watol nga tubanyol sunyale nga dutol sunyale but we didn't go through the extreme kake a dangerous wonyama foka hame ye mo harm to get what you want anu Gambia ka nyatili wala say nga nyatili men dro wala mu the jungle lola betamal survival of the fittest because niaje molu ka kamfa foy ka sungomuta e ka video ka bute ka balo be yiting ka fay diamo ya jele ko niye sungo samba police number 1 bo dolu be je ibe finta police station do jande be futala ton table to na ka be so men ka o sabu mol malo because corruption o e Gambia wo dunta Gambia wo kansa mala mo mota ka bonni dre mamira next government fa ba nola maybe iba try la le wole dandula do fane na way dandula do the third one na way abondi completely but corruption Gambia kata nyameng people are just so disingenuous to themselves to their nation the patriotism is dying momo woko fonna jibo ni mem batata ye preso la menka wo batata Suleiman Fele BBB he's educated, he's a graduate but BBB ninga taramisal fe koy palaso dia la Gambia mune be kela men no follow ba kela la wala mu molu be do ko la ko because naka be discipline dundi la jero ba fala ko ñim ko ñi lafta mol yabula ñu yabi rafatel ba futu tan tolti ñim mol ko be do man ni sota ñim man so mole fen soto isala siraw beke nasoti ka samba jalango to ay la njur waray fa so mol mu abete moment ni ajube yekelo ke batata what do you end up doing is to join the queue comme Rambo Jata ñol quand même for if you cannot defeat them join them. I disagree. Ntaman so wala ntaman lawa. Nta believe talako. If you cannot defeat them, still fight. Keep fighting. Maybe few people would join you. In the long run, many alonko they believe the cause of trying to change Gambia. Ning atarete lata wala son moye wala muta. Wo loje. Kana boje. Because ni botaje, you are weak.
Akumada
Ning atara wala muta la mondrati ko lafta a better Gambia la. Yeah, moli discourage where tin na ibote noto you are weak. You are not man enough.
Akumada bake ba man lafta min fayla tablo kam pour mo be generally to
react to both Salifu and Bamba. Yeah, what they said is really true, and Salifu raised a couple of issues, Maya Lonko, 2 issues that I think is very key. William, this whole accountability, because banko mantano because accountability tije ne do ko ke fo karo fata ya ko I held this as an example inyanta nyinne kala policies nyol bije there is no accountability. Let's say after 6 months ka jube fontol nga nying active le ko salifa nga nying active le ba fo ma active ndol jang ne do ko ke December I had to account. They have to go through na KPI all ka jube ko nga nyine agree sango datita nga nyine agree. So muneketa fo ya sotole fo ma soto ni ma make no muneketa fo ite manyi make no mun sakunda wa accountability di je so momo me ngamen diate ikake anu ngajele ko fanan 2 examples kaita ndiko ninga the right leadership soto asitano 1 ngajele ko manjang ya samba no social security and housing finance ayita ndiko with good leadership and the right leadership, kosi change nole, kosi happen nole. Ibe kelelale, but you still can resist and then aka successful le.
But of course, leadership member Santo, ni woman tara reclaring abukata because yeah, fintindile. Now we are also looking at youngs. No matter what you say, afana ya itani loko within this short period, I can come and deal with corruption. I can come to nalurenga corruption or address. Dame me ya lonko alkata dontorola. Sai wo dontoro fongo wotije because na surplus lesson. 2 people within this period of Balora President Balora leadership have shown is possible. So why are we not? Why are they not learning from that? Unati na mankarang nyinto. Unati na fongo ika mundo ko President Balora na Masakunda they are anti-success. Iman lafi fenna me alonko a positive ta Gambia la banko tamandinya because 2 people show you the examples. So ndika lafta wole add la Mustafa Janibina because accountability, and here we have KPIs whereby ike mezo wole la nintenga doko ke last year na taranteman na KPI nyanta ngamem fonko nyine mu targeti mawo target me for now with an explanation munati na ma make sa imba jubela next year mune bekela Gambia wotije. So it's a problem. It's a problem. Ibe doko kela molbe fala idatije ni molko molbe fala l'hôpital musolbe fala iko politique. Sai kai politique ka wole ta ya kete dikot.
I think listening to all of you speak is like one gets so scared that we are in a hopeless state wherein no progress or nothing good is registered in the Gambia. So I would take a different position. I think Minketa, the accountability thing, I'm not saying 100% accountability, BJ, but from the people that we spoke to here, we've all gathered communication is what is lacking. When they do their things, ibukana funti mol kang furka itan di mol lako mbenyin kelaka or nganyinne achieve or nyinne keda. So where there is no communication, people are left to assume this is what is happening. So assumption is the responsibility of those public institutions or head of departments. Kafundi kaitan di mol lako, we have done this. Manyin keno or nyinne turaje. Because Jama, we encourage these people to go and meet the people and talk to them. Dol bije ka for her transportation problem bije, dol bije ka for opportunity nyinti but being understand communication is key. Me along is missing. Okay, I'm not here to defend Barrow. I'm not here to defend his government or any institution. But one thing I mean understand is like what is happening from Dela positioning. I think government nyanda understand there is a difference between partisan politics and achieving national agenda or executing achieving successes as a state and as a government. Ning mansakunda nata okay Denying killer because or alti succeed because alman support. I think that is a political misconception of leading a state, because nimu nyatung koti it's not everybody in that country or even in the party that will support you. There will be others, many alonko, they will disagree with you. But like Niatra, they are doing that in a positive and a positive spirit. We are doing this, so that we can achieve something, sustainable, something, beneficial for everyone. Then Inyanda will accept that. And one other thing is, you don't exclude your critics, because Nil after succeed, like Jama, you give chance to some of your most, stand critics, so that they can input what they're saying against you. Is I implement no. But if you keep those people at bay, it's like you are kind of suffocating your own success. Okay, I do appreciate Youngs and that Mustafa Yemimfo. They are good two examples. And state nying nyante support lale in a way, because these are people who have come to help you develop and build a good legacy. So even though they belongs to a different political, party, it will punish because ni succeed, you would think, oh, they succeed because ila party le succeed. No. Even though they belong to a political party, but they are now public servants. They are public officials. They run in a public institution. So ni succeed, wonyanta trickle down to other departments. But Bamba Fana for, I think, is quite essential. Jama bije, when you are appointed and you want to effect positive changes, and Minube Koto, Woliajeko, there's nothing for them in, the initiative that you've introduced, to take your institution or department to the level that it would yield, productive results for everybody. They would, gang against you, Moriado Kobije, they can accuse you of, false allegational, they would tarnish your image. Anong ibaje la kung ikamino for sungunying wokan ila salary less sunya bari minu ya lonko womu hetaleti wo akela best results le sunya koto anong akela good image le sunya koto, because they try to project you in a way me alonko imam will represent. Okay, I do understand. You did say, okay, maybe Baro Minuba Koto Lebi. But I think, to be quite honest, we've been saying this for long, that those around him are misleading him. But I think it's about time I reflect that people have been saying this, but what am I doing to change that? Because I believe running a state is not like running a corner shop or a family business. Because Nika state run, you run it, freely and fairly. And mu dine bankolti, whether that's true or not. But I believe mu dine bankolti. And when you are taking that oath of office.
Suleiman, can I quickly chip in there? Suleiman, Mamme understand is, okay, you can blame Baro Barai Kanya. Because let's say, for instance, Baro is critics also to the media logo incorporate into his government. What are they doing? For instance, let's take an example of Sekumbalo. Sekumbalo used to be a great critic of President Baro. Now he is political advisor. What impact? Dr. Ismail Asisi was a critic of President Baro. My brother Momodu Saba. They were all both critics of President Baro. So neither for President Baro mental small cake. Aye Samanang Aye Dundi. Ikafuta. Ibala Masakundakon. The coalition partners of APRC, for instance, Bakarto Mojato Jolu Rapo Molano, you name them, will be able President Baro critics before. Now he has made a coalition with them. What impact are they making? It will come microphone like a maybe from Modeko. Things are in policy. Now they are in the government.
For people like Fabakary Tombong, I would not even consider who as a critic of Baro. Because Fabakary Tombong being a whole agenda long. Ala agenda APRC would come back to government. And that is what he's effectively doing. You understand? Okay, Sekumbalo, for me, he's a political advisor. I don't know why he's advising the president. You understand? He's a presidential advisor. So Malong, I cannot say anything about him or against him or for him. But in Kaminu for, let's say, for instance, Sabali and Ismaila, Dr. Ismaila. Dr. Ismaila kabring katata barola. Inyanta position diala miya lonko molba jelako. He has been given this role. And molba mezola on that role, whether he has been productive or not. But in Naman role, so the ICJ drong purka campaigno kaye or Sabali ka campaigno kaye. Sabali could be like a secretary general, or he could be a minister of education or something. Me alongo molba mezola on that. I mune produce as this person. So nteka je wonyale. I think Barrow has registered some successes here and there, but there are more, unsuccessful stories under his leadership as well. And it's not possible to achieve anything, but there are times that you could, do a self-reflection.
Yes, that's all.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Jenko, Barrow successes registered. Can you give me 5 successes? Registered examples of 5 successes.
Well, one, you can look at the security sector reforming programs. Will be jail. Even last week, you had all the senior management of the police, recess, and they're having training. 2, you can look at education, wherein he has sent people to Rwanda to go and study on the educational system to bring it here. 3, you can look at the infrastructure that he is doing. You understand?
Okay.
So these are some of the things that he has registered. And near Jubeko, like Kunung for Kununko, NPP had a program, a fundraising program to sponsor Young Bagwe Youth Soul. So these are all things Mia Lonko, are geared towards bringing about lasting development and success in the country.
And I would call them success because, there is no tangible evidence can measure I think impact Carle Soto on the people of the country.
Are you saying the roads will impact Soto?
1 minute. Kamol ki Rwanda does not necessarily mean development the Keta Gambia. Until after success mean lona for example, nim barolota biya kabin debe government assume binding 40 wala ka drop out school. But kabiri nata mansakunda kanafo be dinding 3 wala dam ka drop off school. Wo evidence sifal until after wala but kamol ki Rwanda
look at also I school sold menu build. I school sold menu build.
Security reform. How has that impacted on the nation? If the reform is on paper, the reform is not police station jelle lacked police officers. Police station jelle lacked police equipment.
When we talk about the security sector reform, when we talk about the security sector reform here,
until after tangible success, one of
the success stories Wolemuko saying with the security sector reform, you can say anything against the government or for the government, you go home and sleep. Nobody comes and pick you at night.
I'm sorry, I don't get that.
No, I'm sorry. Jamila Wato, some of us here,
there we go again. There we go again.
Our families, I'm giving success stories. These are success stories for you.
They are not success stories, Suleiman, please.
So education in Jube. Education when they go, for example, Itela Diamo Gambia was the best civil servant and was the most educated. And other countries like Sierra Leone, Ghana, and Wolsifal, they send their officials can study Gambia so that they can go back and impact that.
Yeah.
So that's what Barrow is doing with sending people to Rwanda to study their educational system. Unless if you are not believing in what you own say. Because if you say this was success for the Gambia, and he's doing it, and now you are standing and denying that.
No. Yeah, the measurement of the success. The success defined very clearly. After success story.
So on the roads, ikako way impact mean
exactly.
New roads akamino bill.
But Suleiman, there is a distinction between success and trial. Barrow Bemenkekang is a trial. It's not yet a success.
Of course it is.
No. Sending people to
Serekunda, Ikata Sutukum. It would take you maybe 9 or 10 hours.
Okay.
But it's saying you can leave Serekunda and go to Sutukum within an hour or 2.
Okay, I'm going to move on. Mustafa.
Is there no success?
One point, let me follow about Suleiman Fanang. I mean deliver.
Okay.
Communication wole laktanu and wole be lakang communication between Miniben and Yatonka. When we looked at Muneka more disconnect. Muneka services disconnect from, Mansakunda disconnect from the people.
Yes.
Ari ndela mira roto. Yalo ndeye min fonunjang KPI, the key performance indicators. What you are doing well, what you are not doing well, and how you need to improve. In a nutshell, Kodi, yalo world. But Mansakunda la non-deliverance of Atefangola promise. Ninkala promise, ni tate la policy school, ila health policy, education policy, ila agriculture policy. What policy will be dig out bang? You read them, after 6 years, Mansakunda yemune achieve. Niko ye step 1, 2, 3 tale pruka achieve. Fair enough, ye steps later. But Niko, you are looking at yemune achieve tangible results. Ibika jeje, abuka siya. So Niko, it will me found be sharing communication mantara need tema bake. But Niko ko bina fintinang, the permanent secretary of health, for example, Nika na fintinang bi. In terms of health of the nation, what improvements have your department? I mune di Gambia nola in terms of health improvement in the last 5 years. Then ngalamoy.
Ibika na walk and shawl, I can say that.
Remember, we had this MP who was, I think, a committee member of the health. We spoke about, this mortality rate. Musolu Menukafa Timokono. Remember, at some point, people were talking about it, and he gave us facts and figures. Prior to that, Menukafanum Timoto and Adsat now wo talata bake. You got those records, is on record, is on video. So sometimes it's like Tengamin believe even if Barrow is not achieving, but he is achieving. But in Nia Jekon Telbuka Wolong, they don't come out to tell us, or they don't give us these indicators that this is what we have achieved. So Ninko communication
is entirely the platform is here, Puriana, but near
exactly.
So, what would you say? We'll assume and then okay, your thoughts there, huh?
Communication. Yes, obviously they may not communicate, they don't come out and communicate, but until a problem more accountability, because they are not accountable to anything. And Suleiman got things meant for okay, let's say Barrow is building road is a success, but Gambia is 8? Yesterday I was listening to in terms of accident, we are at the highest level in Africa. So what has that impact or change in the fact that the accident level? Even the Fenkole Bafokang, one of these police people all over explain how does that impact? In fact, how does this whole roads also impact people going to work? It takes you hours to get to work. You get late. How does that impact that? How does that change that to make businesses easy? They were telling me, I cannot do much because it takes me a whole day to get things done. I cannot move. Yes, somebody can excuse it and say they're building the road, but no, this should also have tangible impact on the people in their life. Going to work easy. Also, the accident rate also kataduma. But it manwal beleje. The education system is worse now than before. Bamba is talking about people finishing grade. I'm talking about people in university who cannot even write proper English, proper letter, university level. Because I have my company there. I employ people. When they write, you ask somebody to write you a report, they bring it, you are shocked.
Yeah.
And we end up even have to retrain. We train. We work with them to train. That I have facts on that. Yeah. So these are some of these challenges that tangible things that are impacting. We are seeing that things are getting worse. Yeah. People are suffering. Things are getting worse. They are not changing. And we are not seeing government. We are not seeing much happening on those areas. What we know, if you are going to even talk about results, we see Barrow building roads. Everything is dig up. The whole country is dig up. The whole country is in a hole. They are building roads. That we see. The hospital, I was not here when they were talking about the numbers and the figures, but the death rate is still out there. They always bring it. Women dying, they're dying. It's there. In fact, I've been raising this issue for quite a long time. The the number of death in Gambia is scary. And it's young people. We are not talking about old people or young people. You won't open your Facebook. A day has gone. You haven't had somebody say, I spoke to this person yesterday and it's gone. People are just dying like rats. What is that? How is that impacting? When we see people also, food stuff, poor quality of food, this is all under health as well. Poor quality of food that have been thrown into the market, been a dustbin. The health also drug is, I assume, is the police, but also you have the health as well. Because I learned that even some of these shops you go, Indian shops, I will mention, that's what they are telling me, they are selling sachet of drugs to kids. Underage kids that their parents don't even know about that. So the kids will just come, they're holding small sachet, I learned that is drug. So parents all don't even know. There is no information going out there to help.
I think I spoke about that earlier because when we started talking about security, security you need to understand its root causes. And insecurity, lack of doko kawokele, lack of health insecurity costly, lack of education costly, poverty woka be costly. But I did talk about the streets that na drug squad and ning police all inyante clearla and ning got knife crime all fanang. They should redouble their efforts to make sure our streets are cleared of knives so that we can get our people protected. You can go out and not worry about someone stabbing you.
And even guns, because now we are seeing guns as well on our streets.
Exactly. Yeah, I've mentioned that because last week yedo muta with a unregistered firearm trying to threaten someone else. So Ngaminu is how are these weapons, able to enter the country without being detected? So that the first thing that the police need to question is and they should create strategies to make sure they monitor our borders for these kind of things. But
Suleiman, even whilst you are there, even Jefango, Gambia has become a safe haven for West African criminals. We have to say, because these are facts. People go and come and tell you that, look, I saw this, I saw that, and when they come to safe haven, what is the security doing to make sure we want everybody to be there? Gambia has been friendly to everybody. Even when we live in Europe, when a Gambian mom is nice, we are always, and that will change though. Why? Those coming to our country will they are decent people, they are willing in now na banko mu criminal law safe haven net. That is also part of the security issue.
It's very important. Akumata, I love them in troller on the table, Jang, Janembita. Kuma Jamal le for Jang. And Kachabi diarim baki akumata. Ngami mira fanang min besa wo hakilma no Jang. Wolo nyintiko niya jibe Gambia bango ka min beke ka jani min ka keje. Lokun jamal len kamol invite na e kachajam. Bari min ka kela ya fole. Dolbi je ye kolea cool so do katung do hudlaming ya dile ye kungola dile mom fenyo la dile ye kungo muta karadola killing so ka kolea cool min fanan so je wol keta kuti mi alon dobi je ka frustrate fang fue ka lafika idabula mol kam min alon ko wolbe kuria cool anim fanan ne ajibe Gambia kujamal lebe ko kono ni nata nang banku dingol pour yak ata alonko Gambia la kumata fengo fenti nationalism womo fenne de mi ala kumata bake kilem flanjango ni obije yalo molbije la be conquering molbije e be kamfaring mobe ya fo la diamo kono janne and where atinna fana ngafoko yalo Suleiman ya fo la ko mol botanang bandala banko kan e sendi de mini deport e be siring e be baturola TRRC kete jan April 11 kete jan kul kete jan comme kujamal lebe ku economy alonko ndolbe siring wala kan so ne aje nyin ku façon kake mon nyanda sila le ngaji ben ko nsamine keno pour que nyin eradicate or minimize wala nga tala ase tala no nyame because ni wonte ku se kenole kula membe den comme mo fa be la fa ka nyame mol ka hani ka ku ke they get away with it so wol mo kulati mi alon hani be fon la bunko ne be laare ibe katara hanyire so ngamira nyin kol mo kulati mi ala ibe kere na bari ba mayle ali amira malam mala dama adakatu meeting message on la wato wata ba meeting on la no bari okay ñunu be kere ne sal ya vera ñunu sal se bono la ba nimbe bolano ise bono nyaadi la your thoughts on the current state of affairs muna sikeno puta ñu
ya ndenga fole no earlier on ko ñin ko be let's say stakeholders le be ñin ko be kono mo kilina responsibility ti ñinto mo kilina role te ñinto when you are looking at fenko problem solving when you are looking at the way forward ñin stakeholders bin bebe banko kan kabering Mansakunda banku ding député farmer mo bele ñanta nala together ngalla moy ñola for example ñin dindol min ka fa back way ndema any research min ka Gambia dindol fa sindi ke ñin kan ko muna nal kata back way ilafta munela pour ila banko ñanta min kele to prevent you from going trying ñin dangerous route silang itebe ila education be ñadil of all the things ila dream in ila ifang country ila dream jelle bi je minimum achieve ila Mansakunda se sino ñadil ali o kacha pour ila fana ila dream soul achieve o kacha sifal I think we'll need to encourage the pulling along what is actually happening mune be ñulu kunkono what is it that the government can do in collaboration with Mansakunda biko ko be keno but aning ñin non governmental organizations se link nole ifana a role soto parents only a role lesoto teachers a role soto educationists a role soto tol banku dingol benga role soto many be abroad many be skokodo nenyi mo be put no together on the same page ali ajibe ali Gambia put ahead I'm sure molbe a few changes realized that. But take for example nemira diabetes be siari nyaming in the Gambia high blood pressure and in diabetes but there is no data kafeko it's worse in the Basse area or in the Combo area or in Makati area. But in the assumption it's worse in the Combo areas. And if you ask me why, because when can you reach fatty food soldomo? Will they have got access to processed foods? Then more many alonko hansani ka senoleke ila bungol koma garden lebije and the vegetables they feed on them. So in terms of life expectancy, if you rule other things out, there's a good chance ko dobe jamfaring kombonim brikamala maybe wala balunya fangu nyinyata nutritionally than mimbe kombo. So we don't have the answers because there is no data. Need after data la in the Gambia ibika sotono and we have a very very good and educated central statistics department. Yeah, it's full of good technocrats mini alonko. You ask them to do anything survey, they will bring you the figures. And Gambia the population is 2 million. But out of 2 million, how many people are hungry? If they are hungry, government yanta wala food consumption yanta subsidized lanyadil. Just basic questions and basic answers and in basic solutions. This is what is lacking. And Ntolbe as stakeholders, we need to come together. That's the same thing we need to replicate nationwide. Molina from different sources. Many be ronding, accept they have done wrongs and they are not doing right things. Many be right things. For example, there would be no harm, not everything being equal. Baroina ayafo yankuba ning fenke mimbe kanifi wai. Talib. Afo yoko look. Alim fuwala brains labang. Come to central government. Ali ajibe bang. Allah ideal. Al coming introduce local government as successful. As a keno nyadil, as a replicate no nyadil at central government level. After we want to benefit from Allah's skills and in talent. There is no harm in doing that. But ngamela nying kachal lenyanda kela pur mo kana anything hold back. A Gambia put forward and Gambia need tamina. Yajeko we are doing that constructively rather than equating. Purum bengana on the same page. Ndengaje wale nyam.
Sol yang smile. You're on mute, Suleiman.
Yeah, sorry, mangi lifin fi. Ana Bamba sai bi dafa lifin.
Why ma phone sa magla?
Bamba de mustende Bamba is busy. Bamba munge busy. So manglena deglu.
I think, to be quite honest, I do agree. I believe whatever you are doing, if you don't communicate with the right audience, they will not understand what you are doing. And staging is accountable among Siloit and Dimola, or they're doing certain things. We will assume they're not, being accountable, because Gambia doyatale, and we over 50 years since nga independence soto. So banko nying saying anyanta tarala nung alhalo to miyalonko anyanta tambila be alhalo minna saying.
Exactly. Yep.
Bari jama niya fo molka fo o Canadian because ni diamuta isila audio ta ya itandi president wala o ya nying. But we are not saying here anything that is treasonable. We are picking on things miyalonko anyanta na banko sambala nyatole. Ando momo niye baro kanu o ye banko nyin kanu inyanta tonya yalale. And you don't just say things because iman lafi brand as anti-government or anti-baro or this, because intena support baro mau nukum. So everybody alone can take a barrel support. But it does not mean when I see the truth, I will try to toe around it. So at the end of the day, nina consent lem. So nina Mario Bendan safa kabrimbe balorin manyinke no bari nganyim fono. So unlike Bamba, me alone go aka disappear now and again. They always I say things the way they are.
Bamba ile lafta mi fola Bamba janning solve fenkala ko wadu dada bakele im problem ol bebe kere de yamara im problem ol se jara no nyandi le Bamba
Sheikh Mustafa ñim problem ol bebe jara no la
ata jara no la he's part of the
problem. No ñim problem ol bebe jara no la te koleala ñim banko dingo be tilingota yaji haninga President Barrow bondije. President Barrow is an individual. Banko dingol la nyante la banko kanula. Ye dingolu fon lu fanan kanu because sama ntol la backbone mu dindingol lelti menu nyanta palaso tala nintol ke bayat. Nintol nga palaso beti nyani wol nata, they would have to start from scratch. And non fonga wole understand for ourselves na genuine enough. Sunyaro kanyantale. Banko dinguli nyatilim banko do kola bangana banko dada mo ko tentina ka Gambia dada ntoli anon tol manya na tarla Gambia be doyare nyama manya na kala banko di 50 something years be sada nola ite wati juma le ite be lo no le simfulola banko kata nyame mbele nga lonko abukata ko ando this mandara me alonko mol ka foko ndol fana na tonle sita ndol be power na tonle sita pour ka enjoy ndeman kafiri ya je dunia ko no menje wayata
UDP le okumasi Ibrahim Adiba.
No.
Anybody will love to enjoy, like you have to join coalition watoni. And I wanted to say this thing. Gabriel Bankoning is ungovernable. Lawyer Double for they will render the country ungovernable. It will left them in my work.
No, but opposition dia to Suleiman. Let's be genuine here. Let us be serious. Oppositional government banko fankela ungovernable. You have the army, you have the police, you have the securities, you have the NIAs, you have everything, the paras and all sort not. Abebe as leader of the nation. Inyanta men understand na wala munyintiko. Don't look at the threat. Inyanta men kela the mandate that is given to you banko diule mandate mendela is to serve, to better their living, to better their condition. Wala mu mandate yemen ditela. So mandate ye out of office ta wala al-Qur'ano muta wala lota banko be nyala. Iko I will execute this duty without fear, favor, ill will or affection. Al-Qur'ano be bulokon. And you call yourself a Muslim? Wa al-Qur'ano be bulokon saying why would you be looking back afoko nyulle be mbatande kankanyati wala ni wala be kelol opposition wala be kelol how many years? Banko di wala opposition wala jeli yete je karto fayitele. The mandate is already in your hands. Banko di ule mandate mendite la, o mandate ni masafu, yomal kiameni bekiti la. Anybody. Banko di o banko di nim banko di ule yete tombo yeta mbindi nyato. Ye julole mine kaola. Me alonko hako wa hakabeje. Dino la karola. Whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Muslim, hako Senghor ye Gambia be Senegal marel how many years? Senegal is predominantly Muslim. Senghor mo Christian walti. Ay Senegal mar how many years? Senghor ye part me landi Senegal hane kapi o part lebe follow ka. Adjubedron Senghor botaje Abdou Diouf nar Abdou Diouf botaje karto fighter Abdoulaye Wade gagneta Abdoulaye Wade botaje karto fighter Macky Sall gagneta banko nyimbita kanne democratically changes of government happening Senegal ban coup d'etat long ndolga moy Africa bankol beto for Senegal dali juma kama because you're part of democracy le follow nyaton kanata doyal ninkanya wato sina nobody needs to tell you that you need to go and give the mantle to somebody else. Wafana yala best try Gambia dingo bele si Gambia marano ndol menu bebe siri njambe si president ya kenol president ya ibuka karang university ibuka karang karamundo ibuka karang classroom okon you learn on the job. So ila duty as a leader wala mu nyenti ko to fulfill what you've promised the people. Forget about the opposition. Opposition will vote
for you if you stand for presidency.
Yes.
Mama.
Yes.
Mama, ilafta kila president was laba.
I'll campaign against him and don't Nay, would you vote for him?
Mama is my brother. Yes, I'll vote for him, and because
he's your brother.
Even Suleiman will vote for me because Suleiman yalon ne ko ninga ke Minister of Interior da mala do ko katela mile tule. Nde yalo police nda fana mi otala mile tu ka minister faje sa mo nga funde ka ngasa ma agriculture mo mulunda nya ko defend.
I think for initially I want to go back to that. Along leadership, utterances dole bije niye make even if you do them on a political platform, like a significant impact totally on the people. I think you said, Iko, if you don't support me, I'll left them in Altewo Sotolajan. And he may not directly say to civil servants, Alkana, and support when they come in with their investment or businesses. But some of them would see it in that vein. So that's why, in personal, I believe as a leader, whether immorality or immobility or you are whatever role you have as a leader in the community, ila utterances they should be measured because they would have significant impact on ila followers all. So we need to be careful with those things.
Yeah. Okay. Ndayla observation no yamaran sa jarano nyaade la ñim problème sa jarano nyaade la ndey.
I just see it like this. And just a quick response to Salifu. Salifu, this thing of Youth Soul Kumandi, we did it in December. And that was through, in fact, Sabali, who has been calling me, Akam Kumandika, for the crisis with the youth, if Gambia House, if we can do something about that. So we gathered the youths through the Sabali was there, Kemo, Bojang, and then MC Cham, and then Demba Balem. We gathered the youth leaders, and there were 30, I think, that attended, and have this conversation about what's the problem, what's the solution. So the process is on. Of course, it's been overshadowed by this move of Savali and all these things. So we just have to look at how do we go around it. But it was really good because a lot of these youth leaders were there, and they came up with very interesting things that we have to look at in the part 2. Because it was for them to find solution to the problems.
Yeah.
But in general, in the Jammeh, President Barrow fangole nyanta political corruption or stop la. And when I said political corruption, it's the fact that everybody more resources is being given to people who support him, MPPLM or AFPRC. Even jobs are given to people who support him, either AFPRC or MPP. That political corruption has to stop. It's going to be based on competency, qualification. The second part for now, Minister Soul, every quarterly, yellow gold soul men set.
Yeah.
Somebody, because President Barrow cannot do it, because I think we understand that. We have to be honest.
who is in this government, may along will be responsible for that. Every quarterly, ministers will be see, you go through the goals, what they have set themselves, and we see, achieve le bang, forma achieve. Natara ima achieve, munatin na ima achieve. Si ma koy no nyadi le pour yening achieve. Mum bottleneck wole bije fo e maning achieve no wojube sa nga move. So every quarterly ni nga woke. Ibaje la ko be futala to a stage whereby mbajila ko accountability be kekan fapita mbajila ko mbenin try ka manta. But na solution so ka address. But kata coming, I don't want to use thinking because that is discrimination, but kata like that albeta wrong. Stop to je cough to je laha to je break to je reflect to je ndela fajila mansakunda ye mo nyini. Who understand these things? When you go along, I'll be responsible for the whole ministers. Quarterly, we go through this. The other thing also,
they've got a cabinet secretary Vijay, government spokesperson. These are two people.
I think cabinet secretary is taking minutes and all these things. Manlala power is that strong. I don't know.
Permanent secretaries are better placed, can report the department, really. Permanent secretaries.
Yeah, but most of the permanent secretaries, they are under this ministry. But if you have somebody, an overall person, it could have been the president or maybe the vice president. Who will just bring them and we go through and then ngajubeko karima nying achieve the problem nying mba mako ila nyadi mun resources ya wole need pour ka move from it. The other part also wole muko also the ministry for employment lafta jela yesi ka jube because to create jobs is the easiest thing. All you need to do, what do we need in this country? Last time I was laughing when ikomburo mankita Gambia because Ukraine la keso. Nko look Gambia na lanol bije nyo bije Gambia ba fela komburo tije na lack of mburo le bije because of Ukraine.
I know.
Nko at least you see the employment department see ya jube. Nsulo ka munela. Ni banko kono. Ngaso tele bank masoto. Use it to create jobs for the youth. Mburu Gambia no bele kadomo. Why mesila ning mol tamata gamodula mburu buka soto. Get 10 youths, 11 youths, put them together, give them resources, get somebody to help them, and then you create jobs. Look at the problem. Mburu is a problem. Rice is a problem. Salif talk about agriculture. Rice cultivator, which they are doing, but they can put more on that because then you are creating job on things you need because they're going to be consumed. Other than into entrepreneurship, they are creating a lot of businesses that are not even being consumed by the people because it's a need or it's too expensive for the ordinary guy. That's what I want to see, an accountability. And President Barrow, I relax. UDP, Mantara, America. Molia Tale, I see, I diamo blocko and UDP tearing because amu man secondality. Nabe diamula, nabe kolkela. I see, I focus, membe keri mansakunda. And I want to see a government. Mansakunda kana ning crisis oketa, ye wuli ye na, ye diamu, ini mole diamu. Ibuka oke na manke kamol neng, kamol has. They don't do anything apart from them. Lafta keje, kabring snow crisis keta. No way, when it comes to, snow and weather, cold weather, until we are advanced. But all of a sudden, we had this crisis. They came out to explain 2 days before even this crisis, already information of Fintita, they're going to be snowstorm. The very day, there was a crisis. And in fact, the people responsible for transport system, they were having a party welcoming their new employers. It becomes a scandal in the country that the whole country is on standstill. You people were partying when you are responsible for the transport system. And of course, it becomes a big thing. And they were also called on meetings. So that accountability, the KPIs, resolving our method, and ministers, we know what they're doing. You will follow because Ninga was system also wrong. And the last one, for learning from the others. President should stop fighting good people. Ninga for good people. Ngajele, the same thing happened to Manjang. Manjang was fought and removed, and he came with result. Jamalika advice those wrong advice. I I personally even wrote a letter to the president regarding Manyang, that this is what this man has achieved. I put everything in bullets, the results and everything. And I said, this is what is happening. Allow this man to go. He's coming. I wrote that letter. I also wrote that letter personally. So these are the things. And Yangs is doing well. Let the guy go. Let him do his work. Use it, and Salih said, use it to learn. Yangs, you are very successful in doing this, in copying up incompetency and all these things. Can we check which department can we take it and model it? Because that's what we do here. You model this. This is something President Barrow a political bula atelebe political kele nyimbanko. That's the last one. I a political stop because at a damn male be political and nyimbanko called momentary political because oppositional ila do ko le political at the president no ala do ko le ka banko samba atelebe political and nyimbanko and bonyanta stop line.
Yeah. Thank you. So your final thoughts, you them. Yangi mute, so yangi mute.
Yeah, for me, to be quite honest, I think Lima advise government and public institutions, heads, they need to be communicating more to the public. They need to let people know what they are doing, what they've achieved, what they've underachieved, and what they're doing to make sure they achieve what they tasked to get. Kulanjango also na until komia fo nyameng banku kano nying nyanta sambala to the next level. And banku kano ni ya for banku kano is not just for you fight for your country ning war bije o sifal. Banku kano wolem ni tinyaro je dawoda imu banku dingol ti yelo yewo kele. Ya make so wo tinyaro man ke. Ni ya je problemo kana and then like they coming for the state is Gambia is now a safe haven for the sub-region criminal. Ni moje mi yalonko nyinde ay biluasing ila bungo kono tilibulo be mobukaje fo suto. You need to find out akamuneke. Why is that person not seen during the day ikaje suto drong mune mala do kote akamuneke akata minto niya suspect ya report police ye na ya cool kisi andung fanang mansakunda nyanta project lola. I do understand come they are for nyameng in India you sold diamuta. I'm not so whether government fanang ye wol kele. I'm not going to sit here and say things mamin long, but ngamin long ko ni bagwe youth soul ni ye engage, rightfully ite funtila. Because like Gambianol buka funti kata hosulla. Ikata Europe o America ita karangola ni parita esa esu kono. Yedo koke. Bari saying ibe molji la ibe Gambia plus balbe bulu and wol ni afa saying Europe ticket of fele visa fele. They would leave their job and they would come. So Wobe is kind of a bit worrisome. Not only the youth, and me alonko mansakunda dokulalem or private dokulalem, miko Europe, America silo fele, wolbiji obula laita, mansakunda nyanta kasi kakul jube ku. What should we do to encourage our citizens for resi? Because banko dingol le ba dokula. Ni banko dingol be fundita itada, jumale beje dokula. Foreigners all nata, they just collecting iba sambala back home, like some of us. We work here, you send your money back home, you either build homes or you create businesses. So you are not investing it here. So samba su. So foreigners all menukanaje, whatever they get, ibuka invest in the Gambia. Samba back home. So nyantana programol create la purungana mol encourage yesi so kono ye banko dada.
Thank you. So,
corruption of Fanang is like, I think Baronyanta Funtila saying he should be talking more like make a statement will make me indicate he's willing to fight corruption and more Mia Lonko is involved in corruption, you will not be exempted. And na MP Sol Fanang coming back to them. Itil Fanang inyanta Bill Sol introduced la Mia Lonko. Come like President Oya invite once a month or once every 3 months at a National Assembly, you know, I come they coming for you, I report odi. For the past 3 months, ala government ye mune achieve. The next 3 months in Yanta Minkela. But I think that happens only once a year, and most of the time, Vice President Yenekata. I don't think the president has ever gone to National Assembly.
Abukaso Natala.
Or even Jammeh has, I've not even seen Jammeh had done that. But in Yante enforced lali. Ning President Wole Nyanta Tala, Atile Nyanta Tala is not the Vice President. So this.
Sorry, Suleiman. Even with that, Najang, the president usually come. But then, naturally, say the discussion as a minister so be nati. So ko even he directs ning answer question as then natara ite minister afo ko ite ata. You see it on TV all the time. President Kanale do have the natara issues around health them. Afangole kana I minister of health nati, the Department of Health, director of health, ibe. So he's like chairing the meeting and directing those questions. So it's easy. I'm the president fango still. Asinano la ebe nati. Then they will answer the questions. Sorry, just
ngete blanyen do ko la yemene ne meneke wo be nice lal nak nasina ba sol ni so o faciliter no president osina jang fo
really really I've not been appointed as presidential advisor for Nienga. Mr. Mane, this guy is trying to put me in trouble.
Bamba, any final thoughts? Yes. Eba confirm back el. Eba mute le.
Mustafa, mulole mutata demanding. Mulole mutata demanding. Baren tulo balale. Yalong like comment Suleiman and mem for the wrong. Aning our distinguished guest Nying. Aning my sister Ndai. Mustafa Gambia di won len yan
is a panelist.
Ndabanke distinguished guest.
Number for line distinguished guest because
I see. Oh, sorry.
Gambia Benjamin sign this culture of ye ninso city dame akanyamo nyime wallet wo culture funga fale nga bade. You are entrusted with a responsibility. Banko whether president ole tombo o banko di ole kate o faye mbenga alone ne tonyabe dame because there is no dispute nyo sabati je ko briye Mohammed Manjan Samba social security he made an impact mo bele wolo nyo sabate wolo even hanala greatest critic sol yalo neko Mohammed Manjan did something mo bele kontan nala ko ya bonni je dali jumala kama politics Yankuba Dabo Fele Brikama Area Council. He doesn't see himself as the chairman. He sees himself as a servant of the people. Where there is no dispute, no sabatiji. Mbele nyabeola, let's put politics aside. Munanti na mendu be mansakunda doku wala wolte behave la wanyama. Moja malbe je kamansakunda support nyin kama koninga corruption oke mansala be mfasala. Akante Mustafa kansa sale. Je, ite mansa support pour mansa to e diado ku kendo ke banko ka isaje o fanana legacy si betea. Na bota je senin sama molbe mem fola. Ite ka mansa support nyene kama pour nga banko betinya mansa sem fasa. Abala fa warta baki. Ando menkanake is more disastrous mansa kunda ka bambu ikoma. Akante jahal ndo buka na brain buka tanode. Because you remember Birkama Area Council right now. If I were President Barrow, Indalmo President Barrow to be Billahi Yankuba mba oversado lale. In the sense that I be feeling ke kamba support lale. Nga fondela mansa kunda lafta nyina atendela fongo konode atendela party konode para benna mansa kunda la kon. Yankuba diamuta dawda mba fula ka yindu ko mbeke na mansa kunda konode jamano lam. So alafu Yankuba yako mba support kane. Baye hana antara kuku mulbe mafula ko tonya Yankuba do ko la le bari akita president Barrow la jamano wala. Because he is the chief executive of the nation. Atele mo banko bela president wote. momo e kuku ke Gambia bi President Barrow la jamano aketa wala abetema ajawma. This is what needs to go into my brother's head. Kuku keta Gambia abetema ajawma aketa tela jamano la. What legacy is he planning? Because nimmenu kataya kafaiko mimbe nyinkela kanne because of politics. If I think let President Barrow constitute an independent investigative panel. Now my lab become area council investigation. Independent investigative panel set up. Many along they will comprise of religious leaders, free thinkers, many political affiliations. So ngalo na momo webe political party loko. But ikamenu sa manam President Barrow bulu ikamenu dunga bulu purwole investigation okay. Well, those people more bela along they are biased. More bela ulo. And much more ikamo more many along for corruption balo be moronda. Ekana walta le ikamul PANELIST. They don't understand. How can a thief fight a thief? Yes, somebody talks about adu kalpe mutala. Abuta no la mindu mafan.
Yalo nako Bamba, we are streaming on TikTok as well. Modola ko ako Bamba for ebe kela president otile bang.
Well, nimba go the only trust with this. Wallahi, I will be better than Jammeh. I will be better than Barrow. I will be better than Jawar.
Bamba for presidency.
And I will serve only 5 years.
No chance.
So, thank you. Aziz, thanks for your comment. Ghana, under the leadership of former President Kufuor, used to hold a town hall engagement with the citizens.
Exactly.
And they called the People's Parliament, where the president and his cabinet will take direct action from the public.
From the public.
Yeah, and I went to Fananke.
You have Omar Loom also.
Omar, yes. Omar, every democracy country, their president or head of state, they defend their own government policy and their political agenda. Why can President Barrow defend his own government policy and political agenda? Thank you very much, Omar. Salifu, your final thoughts.
Yes, my final thoughts. Ngado follow no already, but in the after me follow just tariake dro. Ni ale yin ku for me mention. There was a time in order to achieve 5 and 10-year development programs, I am only appointed as development ambassadors, and they are answerable directly to the president's office. So you only can information or gather. You can make sure ko nim policy bijela government policy ko 10 boreholes. We always in CRR. Wole Katara CRR as ambassadors of development can make sure ko 10 boreholes ye based in that particular year. Nime simfanang. What were the drawbacks, the setbacks, and to make sure you 10 boreholes thing. Just briefly. The final thoughts be damindro. Until be diamu kanjane every day. You hani be diamu kang every day. Every week in ka diamu jang. Platform dolfanan diamu bijele. New conversational pay. They need to be pulled together. More the key themes pull out from them. Yajibe, how can we add that to government plans? How can we? It doesn't matter. Government member banjul be more be la government. So ntol min bebe diamu kanjan diaspora ntol so sino le ngandei because ntol isela dasa mo sodo ela kondon sodo ela sima sodo but woman ke ntol man baluwo dina sifa kono na dino ko nite soto fengo siata ining alni aji ala ya dila ko isa di mo dol la minima soto pour wol fana ya soto. So this is why ntol baby jang, and that's what we subscribe to. So pour benga ke kelintim benga tara on the same page mbe Gambia le put la before anybody, before anything. So nin sita dawda mbe nin conversational. Let's look at what is missing. What are the gaps? How can those gaps be filled? Youth unemployment is over 43%, and youth population is over 60%. How can we bring this percentage down? It's an awful percentage. Why are our young daughters and sons and brothers and sisters, why are they taking in treacherous journey to die overseas? So Bankuni Mimbe Kerimbi, it's significant enough. Purkamol bring them together. Kafoko, look, this is not one person's business. Nimum bella business. So let's come together in a collaborative way. Momo say gapundu mi nyokuno ya try ya nyoku. Puru Bankwe move no forward.
in Marabake, Sal, Malon Day for your observations or thoughts, and then
I just what Salif also is saying, and Suleiman is really good. And lastly, Salif Lanying also, I just want to add, government Fanangi open up also to open up for people who are also coming to contribute, because that is a big problem. That is a serious issue we have faced personally, organizationally. They make it so difficult. So je fanam bi jele dali open up kanam mol je kot like ni mu threat leti or ni mu opposition la kan ni ko, because they cannot stop that. It will stop nola. Banko be dame nyame, I agree with you. They should open up, allow people to be there. There are people who have covering mini mansakunda falinta. There were people streaming in to help. But they all lost it because ibe opposition can support they become suspicious of everybody. So relax lale. So Gambia dingol ye la banko kanule. And they want to help. Government should just open up, and President Barrow, being the leader, he should focus. Honestly, he should just focus.
Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Alimbara Bake, stay put just for 2 minutes, please, for 2 minutes. I'll come back to you. Just stay where you are, and then we'll go offline just for 2 minutes. I've got an update. Brula Manal Giveral Move Dawda, and Ibe Watu, you know, local civic education program, Ming Kasurajan, Kabaran Skype, or radio and TV services. Mustafa Jammeh Besirin program or Kuna Tenturun Jero, Mole Mini along Alfalti, local Kataran Fejang, and Dejabate, Suleiman Jeng, Bambamas, and in Salifomane. What is Sunina Bedana Janefolo Kunala, inshallah, on behalf of management, Dokulal Bay, Malbe Tentulam Baljelal for program Yinkana Civito like Kaputala Lulu Kata Talang Worola. Right, the talk Kamala Olat in the Binter de Domandin, but inshallah, ni Alay Mabe, program of Munan and the local Nala, Talang Lulu, Talang Worola, inshallah. Mobe Tentulam Bejela for Sibinala, inshallah, Nimbara.